Hi, welcome to Macro Golf 10-minute mobility. Today's session is working on the forearms and also across into the elbows and wrists. So any kind of elbow, wrist, forearm aches or pains will hopefully be relieved with this session. First of all, why don't we get your 10 minutes in today? And if this is one of the first videos you're seeing from this series, then it'd be great if you hit the subscribe button and also click the notification bell as well. Then you get notifications of all of these 10-minute videos as they're released. So for today's session, you're going to need a few bits of equipment. First thing you're going to need is a massage ball like this one or a lacrosse ball. And the second thing you're going to need is a foam roller. Now if you don't have the lacrosse ball, you could use a golf ball. It's not going to be perfect, but you could use a golf ball. And for the foam roller, you are going to need one. So if you don't have one, I definitely recommend getting one if you are to do these 10-minute videos moving forward. So to start this session, we're just going to have a little mini screening of the forearms just to see how we're feeling. I'm just going to work to see if there's any wrist or elbow pain as well. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be a rotation from the shoulder, elbow and wrist. Now to do this, we're going to take the arm, put it out directly to our side. We're going to open up the chest, okay? So the chest is opened up, shoulder is fixed in place. Now the shoulder's not going to move, the shoulder's not going to move over at this point here. The shoulder's going to remain exactly as it is, and all we're going to do is our hand are open and our thumb points to the sky. We're just going to rotate the thumb down to face the ground. Now you're going to see how far around you can get by not moving the shoulder, and then come all the way up to the top and then open up to the other side. So just have a feel for where that is. So for me there, I start to get a little bit tight at this point. It just feels like it's pulling slightly across on the inside of the elbow. So just be aware of that. I'll check on the other arm, open up, chest stays nice and open, thumb up to the sky, pull the thumb over, and it's a similar place just on the inside of the elbow as I rotate. Back to the other arm, I'm just going to do a bit of a hinge test. So I'm going to take my arm out, bend it 90 degrees, and I'm going to lift my palm up to face the sky, and then over. So as I lift over, I don't feel much restriction there at all. As I pull up, just feel a tiny bit of pulling here, and a little bit of blocking in the top of the wrist, so I'll just be aware of that. And from the other side, a little bit of blocking again on the top of the wrist, and no restriction this way. So now I've done my mini screening, I'm then going to go through my 10 minutes and then re-screen at the end just to make sure that I've got the progress that I was after. So the third movement we're going to do is called a forearm smash. Now to do this you're going to need the ball and the foam roller. And to start this, it's all about self-massage but using the tools. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is place the foam roller out in front of us. I'm going to take the forearm, so I'm going to start on my right arm. I'm going to place that onto the foam roller with my palm facing upwards. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ball, I'm going to push down into my forearm and try and find a spot that's a little bit tender. So for me, just about here. Now from this point, I'm going to have my palm, I'm going to put it down to the ground and then lift up to the sky. You can do it with a closed fist as well. And I'm applying pressure down from the ball into the forearm, into the roller, and then move my arm around that position. It's going to do the self-massage and break down any of that stiffness there. So you're actually looking for the points of discomfort here and then working through. So I'm just going to move into a different spot, push down with the ball and move the fist up and down. Obviously the stiffer the ball, stiffer the foam roller, the more you'll get from this. It's actually quite a loose foam roller, quite a soft one. And then we'll move onto the other arm. Exactly the same progress. Left arm goes down. Ball pushed into the spot, palm facing up to the sky, push down nice and hard, create the fist, and then lift and open up. Really apply as much pressure as you can handle. Try to find that spot that is discomfort and working through that area. It's very easy at this point to avoid any areas that cause you pain or discomfort, but this is the whole purpose. We find those areas and we work through them. And take a rest there. So you can put the foam roller to the side for now. And now we're just going to work a little bit into the wrists, okay? So if we spend a lot of time on our phones, on our laptops, the areas within our thumb can get really, really tight and really, really stiff. And if this becomes tight and stiff, it's going to cause all kinds of problems in the wrist area. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball, we're going to push it into the gap in our thumb, between the thumb and the wrist, push it nice and hard, and we're going to do the same movement of dropping the hand down and lifting up. The ball doesn't move, and you'll feel that the skin will grab onto the ball, and you're just tacking into that joint. Apply as much pressure as you can handle. Move the thumb in the up and down direction. This one can become quite painful. Notice how the ball doesn't move, the hand just spins on the ball. And we swap to the other side. Exactly the same progress. Ball goes into the gap, into our thumb. Ball doesn't move, holding that nice and still, and the hand just moves around the ball. Ideally you want the skin just be sticking to that ball. Apply as much pressure as you can handle. And then take a rest after that rep. And you are done with the ball. Ball can go to the side and then come round onto all fours now. So now we've done a little bit of self-massage into the wrists and into the forearms. I'm just going to get the wrists moving into the direction that we need them to be moving, but with a little bit of load into them as well. So what I'm going to do is come onto all fours. I'm going to apply now most of the weight onto my hands, and then keeping a slight bend in the elbow, not completely locked out, I'm just going to rock forward over my hands. I'm going to make sure all 10 fingers remain on the mat as I rock forward and over. I'll then release, and then again apply the pressure. It's really important that all fingers remain on the floor, nicely, evenly spread. And back. I'm going to do a few more here. And last one. And we're going to take one hand, so I'm going to start with my right hand, and I'm actually going to place the knuckles down onto the mat now. So I'm again going to keep all 5 of these fingers on the mat, and the idea is that with these 5 fingers on the mat, I'm now pushing through the forearm to get that wrist onto the mat. From there, I can then apply a little bit of pressure. Obviously using my left hand to control the amount of pressure that I'm applying to that arm, but really trying to keep all 5 fingers down on the mat. Relieving off any tension off the top of the wrist there. Maintain nice even breathing. Even if there's any pain, no wincing, don't show it. Just breathe through. And then swap to the other side. Right hand comes down, left hand goes over, all 5 fingers on the mat. Try and keep the arm relatively straight. Nice even breathing, 5 more slow breaths. And take a rest there. Come all the way back onto your knees. Now we're just going to go through a few more movements. Now we've done our self-massage and a little bit of stretching. Now we're just going to apply that into a little bit more of dynamic movements. So we're going to take one hand and place it out to the side of us. We're going to take our thumb, place it into our grip, and arm out to the side, same as what we've done for our initial screening. And now everything's going to remain the same apart from the wrist, and all we're going to do is tilt our hand over. As we do that, we'll feel the stretch coming to the top of the forearm here, and back. Tilt out. 100%. 3 more here. was pulling the thumb down. Last one. Shake that off, go to the other arm, hand comes out, thumb goes over, grab the thumb, and tilt. And last one here. And you are done. So that was your short little 10-minute mobility work for the forearms, wrists and the elbows. Now we'll go back to that original screening and just make sure we've made that progress. So starting with the right arm, let's go for the rotation first. So from here, keep my chest up nice and open, I'll rotate over. Now I can definitely get a little bit further than I did before. And that's definitely eased a little bit on that tension on the elbow. Let's try the other side. It's actually even better this side. Go now for my hinge, elbow up. That feels a lot better, a lot less blocking. And this side. Good. And it's really important that you do that initial screening at the start and then at the end to make sure that you have got the best out of that 10 minutes. Well done for getting your 10 minutes in today. I hope you enjoyed that video. As I mentioned before, if it's one of the first ones you're seeing from here, it'd be great if you hit the subscribe button and notification bell as well so you get notified of all the videos as they're released. But well done for getting your 10 minutes in and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.